have a son or daughter that wants to play college basketball, well, stay tuned. You're in the right place. Next 10 minutes, I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to be able to show college coaches in order to earn a spot to play on the next level, whether that's a scholarship or an opportunity to walk on, whatever it is you're trying to do. I'm going to tell you in this show how to get it done, what you need to show them, and how to develop it along the way. No matter where you're at in the journey, this is going to be a great show for you to listen to. Now, before we get to that, let me remind you, this is the College Prospects Podcast, brought to you by Watts Basketball and the Watts Foundation. To get involved in our Game Changing for Life programs, go to wattsbasketball.com, or you can just check out the links in the descriptions of this show, the wattsfoundation.com, or to sponsor a kid in need, the wattsfoundation.org. Thank you for that. Now, let's get to the show. So, the number one thing that college coaches are looking for, all right, get this, is people who can impact winning in a positive way. Players who can impact winning at a positive way. Now, I know you think, oh, okay, that sounds simple. That's, well, it is, but the decisions that you make along the journey will affect your ability to impact winning, right? We think about skills, developing the ability to shoot, developing the ability to dribble, developing the ability to play defense, developing the ability to rebound. Those things, as it relates to playing college basketball, as it relates to being a prospect, only truly matter if you can convince college coaches by the way that you're doing them that you can impact winning on the level that they're coaching on. So I hear people say this all the time, and it's a misconception, and I want to change your perspective. Oh, I can play at that level. I can play at that level. Being able to play at a certain level, being able to play for a certain team, being able to play, that's not the objective. Anybody can get up and down the court, run up and down, hold their own, maybe not embarrass themselves. Some people being able to play means you can get on the court and not embarrass yourself. But can you ask yourself, can you impact winning at that level? All right. So now that we got to that, how do you develop the ability to impact winning? And I think this is where a lot of parents, a lot of players short circuit their journey because they try to play on the biggest team. They try to play on the biggest stage. They try to play, they're looking for prestige, right? Where the team that you play on and the jersey that you wear is how you identify who you are yourself. But if you're not playing on a team where you have a role that is a significant role, then you're not impacting winning, or you're not learning how to impact winning. So in your development, when you're choosing a team, right? Like, you can choose a team where you don't have a significant role, and you will be conditioning yourself to be a role player. And when I say impact winning, I'm not talking about as a role player. I'm talking about as a primary player on the court. Whether you're developing yourself as a whole player, or you're trying to get to college with a significant niche, right? If I'm a great shooter and I'm a knockdown shooter, but I'm dependent on ball handlers to get me the ball, then I better go play for an AAU team or AAU program where they run an offense, they set screens, they have point guards, and they teach them to dribble, penetrate, and kick out, right? You to find that place where you aren't just a part of things, but you're a significant part of things. And one of the things that needs to be conditioned, one of the things that this conditions you to, and I have athletes, I specialize at taking guys that are underdogs, and I have players who played insignificant roles in like high-level AAU programs that ultimately made the decision to play in a lower-level AAU program and have a greater role. And in that greater role, they learned, right? They might not have been in the biggest tournament, been in the biggest thing, but they learned how to impact winning in the game. And then as they grew a significant role, now the same players, they're playing against, and this has happened multiple times, they're playing against teams that either cut them or teams that weren't playing them when they were there, and now they're playing them and scoring 35 and 40 points against them, and then the team is inviting them back. And I encourage, like in the middle of the season, I encourage you to stay, because the most important thing, if you're not already being recruited, if you're not in that upperclassman stage, and actually even if you are, how do you learn to impact winning unless you're in situations where you impact winning? And players who impact winning, they don't just say we won or we lost. They take personal accountability and responsibility for the wins and the losses. If you don't feel like the wins and the losses have anything to do with you, if it's the coach's fault, if it's other players' fault, if it's if you're consistently not involved, or you're consistently saying somebody can't do this and somebody can't do that and then you're not on pace to be the type of player that college coaches are looking for. All right? So really important, if you want to play at the next level, if you want to help your child play at the next level, put them in situations where they have an impact on the outcome of the games. And then train them and talk to them and get a mentor, somebody like myself, that helps them understand how to. You guys are going to hear this over and over again. And my pops played for the Sonics. He trained me. I was the number one recruit in the Northwest when I was coming out because of the lessons that he taught me. And one of the lessons that he taught me, and you're hearing it in this thing, is repetition. You got repetition, repetition, repetition. So you're going to hear me say impact winning so much. I even want you to message me. You listen to this episode. How many times in this episode do I say impact winning? Right? Because that is what you need to train yourself to do. And when you impact winning on the community center level, and then you impact winning on the middle school level, and then you impact winning on the select level, and then you impact winning on the travel circuit, and then you impact winning on the, you guys hear what I'm saying, right? Every time you impact winning and you get to the point where you understand how to do it on one level, then bump yourself up a level. And you might not be in that role initially, but you fight to get to the role where the outcomes are significantly dependent on how you show up and how you perform. Right? By doing this, you're conditioning yourself to be a player who that doesn't just play games, but a player that develops games and a player that has game. Because college coaches are looking for players who have game. And what do I mean by game? By game, I mean the ability to what? You guessed it. Impact winning. To apply their skills that they worked on to certain situations, to not certain situations, to a number of situations, to the infinite number of situations, to apply their skills to those situations spontaneously so that they make the right plays at the right time for the right reason and give every team that they're on a better chance of winning when they're on the floor. All right, so that is how you get a college scholarship. That's how you get an opportunity to play at the next level. And it also goes into how you should be making decisions about where you should put your children. right? And if you don't see, it's not like you have to be, oh, I'm the top player, I'm getting played. But if you don't see a pathway to work yourself into a role that you are going to be able to impact winning, then you're essentially, as it relates to college basketball, you're essentially wasting your time as it relates to college. Now, if everything that you do in the game, you go to open gyms, there's a lot, but if you're playing with the idea that you want to play college basketball, you got to be a player of accountability. You got to be a player of impact. You got to be a player that takes responsibility not only for his own actions, but for lifting up players around them and for the outcome and the results of the game. And when you don't get the results that you want, what do? You go to work. You work on those things. When I say impact, you don't have to win every game. You got to strive to win every game. And when you lose, you learn from those things and you work on the things. When you come up against a player who's better than you, you own that. You go at them. You go right at them. You figure out what the gap is, and then you get to work to close the gap. If that makes sense for you, holla at me. If you're enjoying the show, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you have somebody that you know that needs to hear this stuff, share it with them. All right, share the love. That's the end of today's show. Do not forget, watchbasketball.com, Game Changers for Life. This is the College Prospects Podcast with your host, Donald Watts. Hey, we'll see you in the gym, on the court, on ESPN, Fox, wherever it is. Peace, love, basketball. To the next show. We'll see you then. Watchbasketball.com. Out.